Could former All-Pro safety Jamal Adams be on his way to Baltimore? We'll discuss that topic and more after Jamal Adams' recent visit with the Baltimore Ravens today here on this edition of Ravens Rundown. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Before we tell you more about Jamal Adams, want to hear from you, the flock. Little survey. Where are you guys watching from? Are you a Ravens fan from the Mid-Atlantic? If you are, like today's video. If not, comment and tell us where you are watching today's show from. Want to do a little survey of the flock and see where you guys are at. Let us know. Like the video if you're from the Mid-Atlantic. If not, comment. Tell us where you're watching from. We'll get started with today's show. Jamal Adams is available in NFL free agency and is meeting with the Baltimore Ravens today. The former Seahawks and Jets safety / linebacker. And I know that he's played safety primarily in his NFL career, but there have been a lot of discussions, specifically back in Seattle, about him playing the linebacker position. That was one thing that was talked about, was if he returns to Seattle, they would move him to the linebacker spot. That remains a possibility for Seattle or any other team, for that matter, that potentially looks at signing Jamal Adams. In the Ravens case, it seems like the interest there is not with the linebacker position, though, but rather the safety spot, the spot that he's played for his career. The first report came from ESPN's Adam Schefter this morning, saying the following: former Seahawks Pro Bowl safety Jamal Adams is visiting today with the Baltimore Ravens. Sarah Ellison, who covers the Ravens, followed that up and brought up a very interesting point. The Ravens are in the market, the veteran safety market, that is. They have former Seahawks Pro Bowl safety Jamal Adams in for a visit, per Adam Schefter. Now, let's get to the nitty-gritty, why you're here. This is a terrible idea for a number of reasons, which I will go over all of them come up later on. I know Jamal Adams pretty well. There's another show I do where we've talked a lot about Jamal Adams. You can figure it out on the interwebs. I don't want Jamal Adams anywhere near my football team for a lot of reasons, which we'll dissect. But this is a bad idea. Stay away. The no-go zone when it comes to Jamal Adams. And before I go into the number of reasons why the Ravens should stay away from Jamal Adams, let's start with reason number one. And that is simply, there are a lot better options than having to settle for Jamal Adams of potential safeties that are out there in the free agent market. Justin Simmons is still available. I don't know why he's still available. He should have been signed by now. I think he's a pretty good player. Micah Hyde is out there. Now, Micah Hyde is saying that he's either going to play for the Bills or retire, but nonetheless, I'd still take him over Jamal Adams. Quandre Diggs, Jamal Adams' former teammate with the Seattle Seahawks, is available. I think Quandre Diggs would be a natural fit for the Baltimore Ravens. I would love to see Quandre Diggs here. I'd take him any day over Jamal Adams. Then there's Eddie Jackson. Oh, and I got one more for you. Marcus May as well. That's 5 guys I would consider before I would even give Jamal Adams a phone call. So, besides the things that we're about to dive in, trust me, you're not going to want to miss this, because we're going to eviscerate Jamal Adams here in just a bit. Just start with this list, and then we can potentially talk about Jamal Adams. But it's a hell no for me. Should the Ravens sign Jamal Adams? Let me know what you think. Y for yes, N for no, maybe HN for hell no. What are you feeling? Tell me in the comments section if the Ravens should sign Jamal Adams or not. One guy I am excited about in Baltimore is Nate Wiggins, and we have his jerseys on sale now at chatsports.com/Wiggins. And a lot of excitement about what Nate Wiggins is going to bring to the Baltimore Ravens this season, and we got all sorts of different jersey options for you. Got the home purples, got the alternate black jerseys, got the road white jerseys, men's and women's options available, all sorts of different shapes and sizes. These things are flying off the shelves. They're going hot, folks. Get yours today. Chatsports.com/Wiggins. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Go get you a Nate Wiggins jersey today. Now, I know what some of you may be thinking. The Baltimore Ravens have a great track record when it comes to these rejuvenation projects, right? We've seen it over the last few years with the likes of Jadeveon Clowney, Kyle Van Noy, Justin Houston, just to name a few. So history says that they could take on a guy like Jamal Adams and turn him into something. But there is a risk here with Jamal Adams that is simply not worth it. Let's dive in. Jamal Adams, 3-time Pro Bowler, first-team All-Pro back in 2019, first-round pick by the Jets, then was traded to the Seattle Seahawks, where Seattle, I think, gave up the worst trade in the history of their franchise when they surrendered 2 first-round picks to get this bum Jamal Adams. And what did he do in his time in Seattle? Nothing. Nada. Zilch. Okay? Last season, he was horrible. Absolutely horrible. He was a liability for the Seahawks team in coverage. They benched him, folks. He had some injury issues as well. Missed a lot of games, as you can see. Barely played in 2022. Missed the last end of 2021. He was a problem. And here's what we talk about when we mention the problems. Here's the grades from PFF last year. Overall grade, atrocious, 54.9. Run defense grade, disgusting, 52.8. Pass rush grade, okay, not bad, 85.5. But that number is deceiving, folks, because he didn't even have a single sack. Okay? And then his coverage grade. What's the number one job of a safety, folks? Coverage. He was horrible. 50.7 coverage grade. Jamal Adams was so bad that the Seahawks defense, who might I add was not that great last year, was better without him on the field. Okay? Now, let's go into those coverage grades. All right? The one time in his 4 years, his last 4 years in Seattle, that he had a decent coverage grade was when he was limited to 8 total snaps in 81 grade, 50.7, 47.4, 53.1 grade in 2020. It was not good for Jamal Adams. He is awful in coverage. Stay away from Jamal Adams. And I have 5 specific reasons we'll get to of why the Ravens should stay away from Jamal Adams. But first, name a safety the Ravens should sign. If they are in the veteran safety market, I understand they haven't really replaced Geno Stone. I get that. Believe me, I'm all in on the idea of going to sign a safety, but definitely not Jamal Adams. Who should they sign? Why not Quandre Diggs? That, to me, makes more sense. Let me know a safety you want to see the Ravens sign. For the best Ravens coverage you will not find anywhere else, you got to subscribe to the channel as we're bringing you daily news and rumors. We're also covering OTAs, everything that's going on there. Any big updates that happen with your Baltimore Ravens, we're going to break them all down for you here on the channel. Daily coverage that you won't find anywhere else right here on Ravens Rundown. Anytime they make a move as well. If they, God forbid, sign Jamal Adams, we'll bring you a video here on the channel. I promise you that much. Even as much as I would hate that, we would still cover it here on the channel. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/RavensTV. All right, now let's get into the specifics of why the Ravens should stay away from Jamal Adams. 1, injury history. This guy has been so injury prone. All right? He can't stay healthy. That's a problem. I don't want to pay the money for Jamal Adams if I can't depend on him to be available. Right? That's a big issue. He has been so banged up over the years, and as you get older, these things don't get better. Number 2, he's terrible in coverage. This man cannot cover a nosebleed, for crying out loud. And it'd be one thing if you were asking him to play linebacker. Okay, I could potentially live with the idea of him being a backup linebacker, not great in coverage. But at safety, that ain't going to fly. He's way overrated as a pass rusher. I know that the numbers from PFF look pretty good. Like, oh, pretty good pass rush grade. Where were the sacks? Where were they? Jamal Adams? So you're not really getting what you are led to be thinking you are getting when it comes to Jamal Adams there. And then on top of that, there's some character concerns with Jamal Adams. This guy got in a beef with a New York Jets reporter earlier this season and called the guy's wife ugly. I mean, that's just uncalled for. What are we doing? First off, why are we fighting with the media? Secondly, why are we getting people's families involved and making personal attacks? That's not cool, man. And then, last but not least, I think he's a locker room cancer, to be honest with you. He quit on the Seahawks last year, didn't show up for the Monday night game, was nowhere to be seen for the Seahawks-Eagles matchup, and no one knew where he was, and just gave up, and just walked out the door and was never heard from again. Jamal Adams got a lot of problems, folks. Stay away. Stay away. Here's the Ravens safety room right now. I love me some Kyle Hamilton. I love Marcus Williams. Fantastic duo. But you need more. There's work to be done, but you can do better than Jamal Adams. Eric DeCosta, John Harbaugh, if you're listening, don't do this. You will regret this. You will regret this for all the reasons we laid out. And if I need to lay out more reasons, we can make another video on it as far as I'm concerned. But please, John, Eric, don't do this. You'll regret it. I can promise you that much. What's the biggest need for the Ravens right now? Is it the safety spot? Is it the wide receiver position? Is it something else? Way in the comment section, let me know what the biggest need is for Baltimore. If you enjoyed today's show and you are a Ravens fan that is in the Mid-Atlantic, like today's video. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time here on Ravens Rundown.